Hey everyone, welcome. This is Friday Connect. We are here every single week, Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. My name is Samila Rajasingham. I'm based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm here with my co-host Jacob Sharman, and we do these trainings for real estate agents around the world. We talk about everything: business, lead generation, real estate marketing, name it. We talk about it here, and sometimes we even bring on guests like today, and we dive into different topics that to help you grow your business. If you're looking to join our online community, make sure you check out our chat box. We're going to put a link in there. It's fridayconnect.net. Everything is in there. We even do these. I know from a lot of people attending these events, they've started to ask us about watching these because of different time zones. So we started to record them and put them on our YouTube channel. So make sure you are subscribed there and connected. And again, if you have any questions at all for our guest or for us, leave it in the comment section below as well. If you're watching the recording, we're happy to answer them for you. And again, if you want to work with us, partner with us, and if you want to join eXp Realty, again, book a call with us. We're all about relationship. We're all about making sure that we're aligned and you're a good fit for us as well. And so again, book a call in the description below. And today is a really special call. We have a special guest with us. He is a rock star here at eXp and really an influencer at eXp. And he's recently become the eXp Canada's president. And I really want to give him a little bit of space, John Tsai, to take a moment to introduce himself as well. But, you know, John, I saw him for the first time at Build, one of our conferences that we have here at eXp Realty. And Jacob and we were both there at the event with some of our agents, and we were blown away by his energy. And I wanted to get to know him. And then soon later, we found out that he became the president of eXp Canada. What a great fit. So we have him here today to talk about everything eXp Realty, but also eXp Realty Canada and Pacific. So thank you so much, John, for joining us. Super exciting to have you here.
Thank you, guys, Jacob and Tharmila. It's an absolute pleasure. I know it was tough to coordinate. I appreciate your patience, the delay that it took to get here. So welcome, everyone. If you're listening to this call, my name is John Tsai. I'm the president of eXp Realty Canada. I'm still in production with my team. I've been in real estate now going on my 18th year. And our team usually transacts on about 150 to 200 million in volume. And we're here in Greater Vancouver, Canada. And now that I'm in this role, solely contributing to the growth of eXp Realty Canada. Right now, we're at 6,200 agents, and our goal is to get to 10,000. And so my job right now, on top of running my team of 40 agents now, is to be in 5 different Canadian cities a month, promoting events, growing, and working on building relationships with our agents. So this right now is work also. So thank you for having me, guys.
Absolutely. And you know, I love that you talk about having to actually meet with people and build a relationship. We're exactly that. It's really about making sure that we're really in service to people. So I love that you mentioned that. And also, John, so what I know that, you know, prior to coming to eXp, you were also a rock star in the Vancouver area. What made you become aware? Like, what brought you to eXp, and what kind of piqued your interest, especially for you being a top producer as well at the time when you came to eXp?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I was about 12 years in the business, 13 years. And in my first 10 years of the business, I was doing 7 days a week, 12 to 14-hour days, worked really hard. I'm a Mike Ferry agent to the core. So we pick up the phone, we go out there and door knock. And I was doing about 149 deals by myself with a couple of assistants, right? And doing that, it burns you out. And might not burn some people out, but it did burn me out. And each and every year after that, my production started declining. So because I was so tired, right? But luckily the market went up, so my income actually went up, but my transactions went down. And I was like, you know what? If I don't keep this pace, I'm going to burn out and not be able to do real estate at all. So I needed to find a way out. I mean, at that time, my family relationships were non-existent. My marriage was falling apart. We didn't have any kids because we didn't have any time with each other. So some of the realtors right now, if you're 5, 10 years in, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So there was no mental health. There was a lot of drinking, a lot of partying to relieve the stress. So I was like, you know what? I got to find a way out. And the only way out was to create multiple streams of income. But I didn't have any other talents. So I had to keep it all within real estate. And what was the only way to create multiple streams of income in real estate sales was to build a brokerage or buy a franchise, correct? So
Right.
we looked at Sutton, we looked at KW, we looked at Remax, and Remax was the one that we chose to dive deep into. I don't know if we're supposed to name brands, but I just did. So
All right.
Yeah.
So
we want to get real here. We want to be
get
as honest
real.
and
Okay, let's get
transparent
real.
as possible. So
Let's
absolutely.
get real. They were very gracious, and they offered us a franchise at $500,000, and they were going to give us some really good benefits, some equity if we were to build that brokerage. If we were to sell it 15, 20 years down the road, we would have something to show for, right? Because if you're just a real estate sales agent, all you earn are commissions, and if you don't work, the paycheck doesn't come in, right? So with that benefit, we could build the brokerage and sell it later. And number two benefit was if I could recruit agents and help them become productive. And at Remax, you do have a split, or if you're 100%, you create you can collect a higher monthly fee. So that's number two stream of income. And number three was they were going to give us kvCORE, a CRM lead generation and website tool that we could use at our disposal to create more lead generation for our agents. So all those benefits added up, and they were going to help us hire the managing broker, accountant, lawyer, conveyancing staff, the whole 9 yards for $500,000. I said, great, let's go. And you know what, guys, earning 7 figures in real estate, I was still broke. I was still like, in debt, because what do we do as agents? We earn a lot of money and we what?
Spend a lot of money.
You spend a lot of money, right? So that's what happened to me. But I was willing to go out and get a loan for $125,000 and get 3 more partners to go in on it. And my partner at that time, Bill Layler, he said to me, you know what, John, before we sign on the dotted line with Remax, why don't we check out this thing called eXp? It was June 2018. eXp had just come to BC. And I said, you know what? No harm, no foul. Let's take a look. And he had me talk to 6 people. They were the who's who of eXp. Chris Baer, Steve Merritt, Brent Gove, Cliff Freeman, Rolf Flick, and Gene Frederick. And all these guys, they told me, John, you are high producing. You know how to train people. This is a perfect model for you because you can create a residual income that can set you free. I said, I don't know if I could do it, guys. I talked to all of them, and my last call was with Cliff Freeman. And Cliff Freeman, I remember this plain as day. November 2018, I was driving on the highway, on the freeway in LA with my wife and my baby in the back. And I had him on speakerphone, and I said, Cliff, I don't know if I could do it. I'll get back to you. But before I let you go, I want to ask you, how much do you earn in revenue share right now monthly? He said $55,000. And that's US.
Wow.
To us in Canada, that's like 100K. No, I'm just kidding. But that's a lot of money, right? It could cover your expenses. And I said, wow, that's great. That would set us free. But you know what? I'm scared, right? Because the model works, but I don't know if I could work. So I said, Cliff, I'll get back to you. And then right when I get off the phone, my wife taps me on the shoulder from the back seat. She said, wide-eyed, you need to get involved now. We never see you. So I said, okay. I signed on the dotted line that night, and then we onboarded January 1st, 2019. Fast forward 4.5 years later, our revenue share is well in the 6 figures per year, and then multiple 6 figures in our stock portfolio as well. So if I sell everything right now, I could be completely financially free. I could move to Mexico and we'd be retired. We could do that.
I bet.
Right? But then you know what? Like, that's why, I went from 7 days a week, 12 to 14-hour days, to working 4 days a week, 4-hour days. I was like this. I was like chilling. And then the market changed. And then all these things started changing around me. Cash flow started dropping, revenue share went down as well. And I was like, wow, I really got complacent. And I got myself into some debt again. And then that's when, when there's something happening, something else just comes. When you create a vacuum in your life, something else just comes to fill it. March 6th this year, I get a call from Glenn Sanford, the CEO and founder of eXp Realty. And when you get a call from Glenn, a couple things come into your mind. Hey, John. I'm like, hey, Glenn, how are you? You know, if you have ever spoken to Glenn, he goes, good, good, good. Long pause. And I said, what's up, Glenn? You either thinking you're getting promoted or you're getting fired, right?
Right.
And then luckily he said, well, we have this leadership position opening up and we'd love for you to come and see if it's the right fit. And I said, what is it? He said, the president of eXp Realty Canada. I said, well, I'm in. Let me know what I got to do. Right? Because what is life if you're just chilling, 20 hours of the day collecting revenue share checks? There's no purpose in that. So you know what? I came back into work and I said, put me in, coach. What do you need me to do? So he said, okay, get all over social media, get as much exposure as possible for eXp Realty Canada, and be in 5 Canadian cities a month. I said, wow, I don't know if I could do that. And he said to me, John, you're never going to know how to do anything until you're actually doing it. So do it.
So true.
So here I
It
am.
must be the best decision you've ever made in your life coming to eXp. Honestly, I love that you touched on burnout, and I feel like so many people in our industry. I was actually, when I came to eXp, I actually had a full-time job. I was working for the government for the city of Mississauga. I'm not sure if you know,
Yeah.
with that one of the 6th largest city in Canada. And I was working for the municipality, and I was working real estate. I had a newborn. I had my second son at the time,
Wow.
and I was working with Jacob inventing a product. And so we had so many things,
Wow.
and we were working till literally sometime 1 a.m. right at times,
Yeah.
and I think it was dawning to us, like, there's a better way to work this. There's a better way, and if we keep doing the more of the same, it's going to be more of the same results. But
Yeah.
I'm so happy I'm part of this vehicle, is what I call eXp,
Yeah.
because it's, you can be successful anywhere. Remax, Keller Williams, we all know really successful agent at any brokerage, even a boutique brokerage, right? You can create your own brokerage and make it successful. But what's beautiful is that when you truly understand your vision and what you want out of life for you and your family, and you can use a vehicle like eXp to get you there. And that's what I always tell people, is when you come to this brokerage, you can do as little as you like or as much as you like, because it really is a customizable brokerage with multiple streams of income. It's just a model that you've never seen before. And it's agent centric. And when I say agent centric, it's really person to person centric. And I love that. I get to, instead of jumping on the Gardner, if you probably know John, getting on the Gardner in the blizzard, getting ready, and if you're like me, you have to do your hair and look good. That time alone, I won't be able to get that back if I was at a traditional brokerage. And that translation is completely different when you come to a brokerage like this. And I tell people that is because I'm a mom of young children. I live in downtown Toronto, where sometimes getting out of the city takes me half the time as coming back into it. And just having to think about all of that is very important for your life. So burnout is very important to look at it from a perspective holistically. But I'm really glad you touched on that, because it's a real look at life, not just at work,
Yeah, it is what it
Another
is.
thing that I love.
Burnout, but I certainly did. So, but it is what it is. And you got to take care of yourself. Sorry, Jacob, I cut you off.
No, you're good, man. You're good. No worries. No, another thing that I love that you touched on is the reason why I joined, because I've been in marketing 15 years. I had my own marketing company 10 years. Only got into real estate because my spouse wanted to have freedom. So I told him, you're already working property management, go get your license. So I ended up getting it and found eXp. And I was like, hey, I already found our brokerage, because this is what I've been working for my whole life, is to be a true business owner. One thing that always frustrates me with real estate agents, they think they own a business, but they don't. They're self-employed. So if you don't make that commission, you take family time, personal vacation, you don't make money. If sales are down, I'm still getting a rev share check every month because I built a team and poured into them. And that's what I think most agents don't understand, is that you're not a business owner. You are the business. So without you, you don't make money. You only can claim you're a business owner if you step away and the business continues to make money. So if anybody's out there watching that, like, stop saying you're a business owner. You're self-employed, but you can be a business owner. It's one of those things that's sad, because there's no real exit strategy for real estate agents out there.
Exactly.
And so that brings us into a good topic. So can you cover what are some benefits of eXp, especially eXp Canada, but eXp Realty as well. And what are agents missing out on by being at a traditional brokerage versus a cloud-based brokerage and a brokerage model like eXp?
Well, I think the four biggest pillars right now that I can see are number one, when you sell real estate, you don't make another income at a traditional brokerage. Where here at eXp, you get rewarded for selling real estate. And just in the first year, I was just selling real estate and I made Icon, right? And the $16,000 that I had earned back, in the first year, sorry, the second year, it multiplied by 20 times.
Wow.
So immediately I became a millionaire from the money that I gave to the company, and they gave me back 20 times. So you're not going to get that at a traditional brokerage, and only because we are cloud-based, we don't have brick and mortar, we don't have franchise fees. And those costs being saved, we're pouring back into the agents. So we're actually paying you to be at the brokerage, right? And number two is that if you were to help other agents, if you're collaborative and you know how to help other agents, you can get compensated for it. It's just kind of like if I tell Thermila to come to eXp and I help you do your first deal, second deal, third deal, right? At a normal brokerage, you probably wouldn't get anything unless she puts me on the deal, right? And this way at eXp, I don't get the split, but I get a small, so to speak, like a referral fee from eXp for introducing her to the company. Number three benefit is we have CRM at very minimal cost. I mean, kvCORE is free and everybody's using it. Now we have Chime here at eXp as well, in Canada especially, and it only costs you $40 a month. And that platform costs you thousands a year, and you can get it for $40 a month. So I think these tools that eXp is giving us already is above and beyond what traditional brokerage are able to give because of the money being saved from no brick and mortar and being cloud-based, right? And no franchise fees. And last but not least, when I was on my previous brokerage, I mean, we were very collaborative. I came from a boutique brokerage called Rennie and Associates Realty here in Greater Vancouver. People were super nice. The culture was amazing. Now, at the end of the day, the top producers at the brokerage probably not going to open up their playbook to me and help me and give me their secrets, because ultimately I become competition. But here at eXp Realty, everybody opened up their playbook to me down to the last detail. They're not holding anything back, because if I become successful, you become successful and the whole company becomes successful. If we all make money, then we all win. So it really is coming down to that win-win mentality with eXp Realty. So number one, equity. Number two, revenue share. Number three, lead generation, right? And a lot of technology tools. And number four, collaboration over competition. So I think those are the biggest benefits that so the three first, you would read about. But the last one, I stayed for. Because those first three are very clear. It's self-explanatory. If I come here, this is what I get. But the last one you have to experience by actually jumping, right? Or else you're not going to experience it. So, which I did, and I'm glad I did. And I was thinking at that time, okay, if I were to jump it, if I don't succeed within 6 months, you know what? I could always go back to RE/MAX. I could always go back to KW, right? It didn't happen, but that was always an option. So there you have it.
I think a lot of
find that-
agents
Yeah.
are afraid of that, is that they make that switch and then what happens? But it's not, they always act like they're just pigeonholed at eXp. I mean, if you don't like it, you can always go. And what we find out, even in our own teams, is people didn't do the work and they leave and go somewhere else, but they always come back because they realize once you had access to this brokerage model, you can't go back doing business another way, especially when you're getting paid more to do the same thing you do at another brokerage.
Yeah.
It's not logical. There's no common sense behind it. Go ahead.
And also, when
Just
you put all of the resources that we give them to actually work, then you realize, oh, I didn't give this a chance. I had agents who, honestly, John, I think out of 40 agents in my group right now, maybe 7 of them came back to eXp and they were eXp
Oh
agents
wow.
for a year. And they were either in the wrong group, they chose the wrong sponsor, they had no idea, they never got plugged in, and they came in, and then they were part of a different part of another group, and they came back and they're like, whoa, this is the right model. I just wasn't
Right.
connected to the right people. And I
Right.
have more agents in the States than I do in Canada. And that
Oh,
actually leads me to my next questions.
sure.
I'm having a lot of conversations with people in Toronto and different parts of Canada as well. I'm on YouTube, and it's funny enough that I love that you touched on that last point about eXp having to be very collaborative and us having to open up our playbook. That really is one of the main reasons why I'm still here, because I came from a marketing world doing marketing consulting, and I thought, wait, I'm getting paid a salary to cap them on to doing that work for the government. But what if I take that same ideology and bring it to real estate agents and entrepreneurs and make them make a lot more money and help them at scale that I wouldn't be able to do at a space like the government? What would that do for me? And now I teach inside eXp University alongside Jacob. We do a lot of trainings for agents. If anything, like 80% of my time is spent towards working with agents in our group and outside of our group at eXp Realty. And that model wouldn't have been that option, and that stream of income wouldn't have been applicable or would have been available in any other place. So that in itself is so amazing. The fact that I can sit here and help agents around the world, it's immensely powerful. And weekly, Jacob and I, like right now, no joke, someone from Indiana just texted me while I was in a call in the workplace saying, can I have a call with you about kvCORE? That will not be happening at any other brokerage, right? And to be able to open up a playbook to a complete stranger in another state. So I wanted to be able to, kind of mention that and put it out there for people that it's really possible for real estate agents to really work together. And so, speaking of Canada and Canadian agents, and the more and more, John, I speak to a lot of agents outside of this, in particularly outside of the U.S., especially eXp being one of the top brokerages in America. It's very different for people in the way that they work here in Toronto, especially in different parts of Canada. They're not really open to the concept of cloud-based or this virtual brokerage idea, and I'm sure you know this as well. And they don't understand, oh, what if I'm not with a big name like Remax? They don't get eXp, and because we're still trying to grow our name here in Canada. What do you say to agents that are not opposed to this concept, and they're not willing to accept this new wave, that Netflix wave that are coming their way, that this is the future of real estate? We know it. We're very confident about that, but a lot of these people aren't in our brokerage. They don't get it. What do you say to them?
I would say that you know what, maybe it's not the right time for you, and that's totally okay. But if you're open to seeing what we have to offer, I'd be happy to show it to you. As long as you're open to a conversation about collaboration, then we get on a Zoom call to explain the model. As long as they've seen it in full detail and they still say no, great. I'm okay with you saying no to eXp, but I'm not okay with you saying no to eXp when you know nothing about it.
Mhm.
So as long as we show you the model, you still say no, that's totally fine. And I think it's a great opportunity here at eXp Canada because we only have 6,153, right? Maybe a little bit more right now out of 170,000 agents in Canada. So for you and I, that's a huge opportunity. Glenn wants us to be 20% market share as a max, and 20% of 170,000 is 34,000. Right now we're at 6,000. We have 28,000 more to go to really be at the peak of it or beyond, right? So I think it's a great opportunity. It is still early in Canada. And it's still early actually in the States, if you really think about it, because KW's at 180, we're at 89,000 total, right? So we got a long way to go. I think we're just getting started. And that conversation right there, Tharmila, you should be thankful for. Because if everybody figured it out, they'd already be here already.
So
Then
true.
we would have missed the boat. I like the skepticism right now still. It's good.
I love that you mentioned that, because even at Build, I think it was that Jake Hinder said that if you've seen the model, you can't unsee it, and it's completely, I don't think he could say it any better. I think this is one of those things that anytime I talk to agents, it's always based on a perceived or an assumption that people come off from, pyramid scheme, or oh, it doesn't work like this, or I've heard such and such, or
Yeah.
oh, a virtual, how will I talk to somebody? How could someone help me? And they can't, they don't know how it unfolds for them when they're actually doing transaction. And this is why it's really important when you kind of show it to people and open up, every single time. And Jacob and I know this, and it's kind of our model within our upline as well, is that we never send somebody a video. We always meet with people, camera on, make
Yeah.
time for people. I always set out minimum 30 minutes to an hour first conversation, because this model, minimum, it takes me 40 minutes to properly explain it and ask people the right question, right? Because the model, the way I would explain it to you, John, would be completely different than the way Jacob. When I met with Jacob, when Jacob came to the company and joined under me, the questions he was asking was completely different, because he came to here to recruit and to sell his services, to help agents to grow marketing. To me, it was like, whoa, this is a huge alignment. This is the guy I was looking for all this time. Someone like me, right? Where traditionally a lot of agents are like, okay, where's my next deal? So
Exactly.
it's a completely different business model, and so many people are not giving the opportunity to just spend 40 minutes, maybe 20 minutes minimum of their time. I think it can completely change their life. And I love that you touched on that. I love that we're still at such an infancy stage of growth. And honestly, John, let's go. 28,000, no problem. We can do this in the next couple of
Let's
months.
do
I want
it.
to change people's lives. It's not about the numbers, right? It's about really opening people's eyes and giving back their time, changing that stress rate, right, of people being stressed, burnt out, completely changing the way people work, and providing services to people, because now I have more time to spend with my clients instead of sitting behind a computer or driving on the Gardner. So completely different way of working.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you
Opportunities
talked
ahead.
too about saving relationships. I think that's huge too, is that so many agents, like you talked about, are burnt out. They're just trying to get that next deal, that next money. We all get into real estate because there's this huge luxury ideology with it. They want to make money. It's a quick way to make money. It really is, if you actually just go do the work. But I think what really impressed me about the model, and I think especially if Canadian agents aren't open to it as we are here, is if you think about traditional brokerage models, you have that 5 layer. Everybody above the agents is what makes all the money. All the owners make all the money. eXp last year paid over $240 million in back to rev share and equity. And at other brokerages, the only people that would have gotten that money are the broker owners, the regional owners, the international, and the owners of the company. Here at eXp, it's CEO, owners. And the best part about this is we're the ones making the decisions, because it's majority owned by people like all of us sitting here. And so obviously we want the stock to do well, but we're not going to do things to jeopardize our business. And the fact that agents are what builds a brokerage, just like people leave this corporate lifestyle, this employee lifestyle, because they're tired of doing all this work for a company and getting pennies on the dollar for what they bring in. But agents do the same thing. They bring that same mentality to a traditional brokerage, and they do all the work to make this broker owner money, get very little resources in return. Most of them are paying for that mentorship, paying for all those resources, and they still don't have access to 900 employees like we do, 8 brokers in my state, and I wait 5 minutes to get an answer. We do all that work for little return. And at the end of our career, we have no retirement. It just like blows my mind that people can't adapt to this way of thinking. Like, we've been so kind of programmed almost to this employee mentality.
Yeah, and I think I think that when I hear that, I think it's a huge opportunity for us. And
Yes.
I'm so glad you get it 100%. But not many people do right now still. And we are looking for people who are looking for us. And that's the main thing about eXp, is that we don't want to push it on people. If you and I align, we have the same energy, hey, let's collaborate. And if not, then we won't. And that's totally okay too. Right. So that's my philosophy in agent attraction anyhow. And I just want to work with people that I want to work with as well. So you can be very choosy in your partners also. You can say no.
Yeah, 90% of people I think in our downline, Jacob, were people that found us on YouTube, people I've never met, never heard of, never
Very
reached out to.
passive.
And yeah, and out of maybe the 10% is people that I've noticed who are part of my inner circles of people who are real estate agents, who I'm like, this can completely change their life. Have very similar lifestyle as me. And it's funny, I'm so glad that you talked about that, Jacob, about people and their time and their schedule too, is that right now, so I had a showing for an investor client 2 days ago. and the property is tenant occupied, I have one question for the listing agent, because it wasn't clear on the listing if the tenant's going to stay. And with Ontario, our Tenancy Act, it's a little difficult for to ask tenants to leave if that. And so I have one question for him. How many times it took me to find and to connect with him? And of course, he had multiple other jobs. This is one of his other jobs, and you just can't get a hold of him. And yes, maybe he loves doing multiple different jobs, but also a lot of the reasons why in modern world, if you're living in the Western world and if you're living in most likely in Canada or US and you have multiple jobs, is because our inflations and cost of living is high, and people need to, and real estate, if you're in this industry, it's very hard as any entrepreneur, self-employed person. It's a very hard industry to be in. You need the right support. You need the right vehicle and resources that are going to minimum help you save time, if anything, so that you're able to go and make money and change that lifestyle a little bit. And that's what I love about eXp, is that even my minimum, I could take a little bit of time off of you to automate some process, which is why I teach kvCORE, is that if I can take even 20-30% out of your schedule of time and give that back to you, I'm like, look at you, John. You said, hey, I was burning out and I came to eXp, and I have residual passive income, and now I'm kind of working a lot less hours. Okay, I got to do something else. I got to get active, right? Imagine giving that kind of lifestyle to somebody else who's not, I have to wait 2-3 days to get a hold of because they have multiple other jobs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just it.
All right. So as we're going to wrap this up, so let's talk about a few closing things. So what are your hopes for eXp Canada and kind of the future for real estate in Canada as a whole?
I think we have a very specific goal. Is the road to 10,000, #road to 10K, immediately for Canada. Right now, again, we are at 6,153. Our immediate goal is probably go to 7,000 by the end of the year, and then 10,000 in the next couple of years. And I think Canadian real estate, we're in a good position to blow up again, I think, because every year for the next 5 years, we're going to have 500,000 people move into Canada. And so what happens with that is most people are moving into Ontario and BC, okay, the immigrants. And then for people who want to have cheaper real estate, what happens is people sell in BC and Ontario and move within, or go to Halifax, New Brunswick, So this is what I've been gathering as I go to these different provinces. This is what I see, and I think we're in a good position to have a very healthy real estate market in the next couple of years. That's my hope, anyway. But you know what? If it doesn't get better, guys, come to eXp and we will train you. We will make you the strongest agent possible, so you can go out there and crush the real estate market, no matter what the market is.
Exactly. And on top of that, have a rev share. So if Canada is weak, then you still have people performing, making money. And that's a beautiful thing too, is this whole collaboration too. I don't think people understand that everybody's got their territories. That literally I partnered with somebody in Toronto, not in the US, in Toronto. And then on top of that, I have 2 agents here. All my other agents, California, Tennessee, Illinois. And what's even funny is I literally just had a client that was a new agent. She needed a website. What's funny was she was paying like $700 a month for kvCORE. And she's like, man, I wish I was in Houston. And I asked her why. And she's like, oh, from our little sessions, I've learned more than my broker has taught me. I don't even have a mentor because they don't have one yet. And she said, I wish I was in your area so I could be on your team. And I was like, oh, you don't have to. There's no boundaries here at eXp. Hi. And it's just great because you don't have to be limited to that, just staying in that region, only getting what you can get locally. We can collaborate like this and grow. And just because we're not a franchise, it's so beautiful.
And honestly, John, this happens to me twice. My first listing actually with eXp, I had a listing in Scarborough. It was an older gentleman. He was retiring. He's Portuguese, and he was going back to an island in Portugal Islands. And I was able to put him in touch with, because when he was telling me he was moving, I was like, wait, I'm part of a virtual brokerage. We just opened in eXp Portugal. Let me put you in touch with an agent. I was able to make referral from someone who's moving, and I had nothing to do with the transaction. I didn't even know what property they purchased in Portugal. And it happened again. Someone else contacted me recently looking for, and I was actually able to post inside the eXp referral group, in my group first, and then obviously to the eXp referral group as well, to be able to provide that opportunity, because that's what I love about this brokerage. Again, like, as you peel the onion of this model, it's so eye-opening. It's not, people are always randomly think, oh, it's all about growing or it's all about recruiting. Let's take that anomaly, let's take rev share and just throw it out the window for 1 second, right? Let's just talk about just doing real estate transaction, that alone, and having to have no boundary, no province, no state boundary. That's unimaginable. Like, that's something that is so unique and so special to eXp, that even I was able to, just by being online, creating YouTube videos, doing training, I was able to bring on a brokerage from South Africa, recruit agents from Spain, and most of my agents are in the States, and a lot of them, I met them at eXpCon and at Shareholder Summit and Build, because Jacob and I try to go to, I think we've been to 4 eXp events so far, unbelievably. And I think that even if you're another brokerage, folks, and even if you're not even thinking about joining eXp, you don't have to come to one of our events. It will be absolutely life-changing just to be around people who are not only financially free, they're happy, they have a lot of time in their hand, they have great relationship. And I think that's what I take from it, is that I'm surrounded by people who are full of joy. And to me, what makes them happy? And then I start to peel the onion. I'm like, whoa, and none of their life is the same, right, John? Right, Jacob? Like, none of our life is the same, and they're completely different, but unique on its own, because they were able to make the life that made sense for them, lifestyle, here at eXp. And I think that was really moving for me. And if I don't mention this to 200, 300, 400 other people, then shame on me, right?
Go out there and share. This is an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah.
But you got to be okay with some people that don't get it, and that's totally okay too, right?
Yeah.
Again, we're looking for people who are looking for us. If you're watching this right now, all it takes is to explore, to get on a Zoom call with Dharmila and Jacob for half an hour. Just explore, see if there's a conversation there, see if there's an alignment, and see if you can actually work with these two, right? And then we can take it from there. Again, it's no
Absolutely.
obligation. Take a look.
Thank you. And this is a great point to kind of wrap this up. First and foremost, John, thank you so much for
Yeah.
taking time out of your busy schedule to spend with us to talk about eXp Canada specifically, because I don't think it's talked about enough. I think in particularly we talk about eXp Realty in general, but it's so important to talk about Canada and to put a face to our president that we talk a lot highly about in our group as well. So this is so great, and the energy and your perspective that you're bringing to the future of real estate here in Canada is amazing. And folks, like John mentioned, remember, this training is for any agents around the world. Jacob and I work with everybody and anybody. This training is open to anyone from any brokerages. These are free to attend. You do not have to be part of eXp. And if you're part of eXp, we still work with you. You don't have to be part of our group. We're here to truly be in service to agents. If you're struggling with your business in any kind, whether it be looking at it from a long-term way, looking at it from a scheduling perspective, lead generation, tactics, technology, CRMs, process, systems, name it, we talk about it here. And especially we talk about things that a lot of people don't talk about, which is website, SEOs, and going behind the technology and breaking down things that are really important. And Jacob and I, we were all about just starting conversations. If you have any questions at all, reach out to us in Workplace. Find us on Instagram. You can find us also on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, as always, leave your questions in the comment section. We'll be happy to work with you, reach out to you. And if you have any questions at all, connect with us. And thank you so much, Jacob, too, for finding the time to spend with us here on Fridays. Once again, Friday Connect, FridayConnect.net, every week at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.